Welcome to the den, the Dingus Den.
Welcome to the Dingus Den for a brand new episode of the Comic Club, where I'm joined here by Comicbookfan. How are you doing today?
Doing awesome. I'm doing excellent. Had a good day, just a chill, calm day, and just enjoying my Saturday. Yeah.
Good to hear. Anyway, yeah, we're here to talk about Ultimate Spider-Man, though. It's such a big issue that's recently came out. It's been selling out everywhere, and for good reason, though, I'd say. It's the Ultimate Universe is back, the beloved Ultimate Universe, that had a very strong run, but now it's being brought back, interesting enough, to where it's now written by Jonathan Hickman, and then all the art in this issue is also done by Marco Checchetto. Probably butchered that, but who knows. But yeah, Ultimate Universe is back. Just to give a little bit of context on this, though, we saw Jonathan Hickman did previously just do a miniseries called Ultimate Invasion. This is something that's been in the making of where there's this character called the Maker, reference in this issue. The Maker, he's the evil version of Mr. Fantastic in the original. He's Reed Richards from the original Ultimate Universe, big player in 2015 Secret Wars. But anyway, he's kind of going quietly in the background in this current Marvel, in the main Marvel universe, sort of working away how to bring back this Ultimate Universe. There's a little bit of him in Donny Cates' Venom, but it sort of it was this big lead up though that we're getting to eventually this or these hints. I think originally Cates was going to do some of this, but instead Jonathan Hickman here took the reins and he made Ultimate Universe or Ultimate Invasion, and that was this 4-issue miniseries where it sort of set up this whole new Ultimate Universe, and now we're getting our first main actual Ultimate story here. This is our first main one, first of the 4 main series that we're getting, and so exciting here that it's now here, and yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man here. Anything that you'd like to include at all, comic, before we get into into what this issue is about?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know anything about what it's connected to before that. It was to do with the Maker. I remember when you talked about the Maker from Secret Invasion. I read that, but didn't know that it was connected that way. I thought it was just going to be like the old Ultimate Spider-Man, where it was going to be its own thing. I didn't realize it was such a big crossover event, and that there was more to it, and that Peter's very different to how he is in the other Ultimate Spider-Man film comics, and also in his old one. It's a big difference, and it was a pleasant surprise. Loved it.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely agree. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this. The issue did open up though when it says like chapter 1 or showing that's the first issue. It did give a little blurb talking about what I was just talking about. I haven't read Ultimate Invasion. I just know the premise of it. But I think there's some details here at the beginning relating to what happened in it, I believe. I could be wrong, but it says at the beginning here, 20 years ago, the Maker prevented a radioactive spider from biting a young Peter Parker. He likewise prevented the creation of any other superheroes and formed a secret council to rule the world from the shadows. When Tony Stark learned the dark history of his universe, he sought to undo it, prompting the Maker's council to attack Manhattan, killing thousands and framing Stark for it. Peter Parker has lived his life unaware of the Maker's council or the truth behind the spider, but that is about to change. And now we'll get into the actual main issue itself here, where we see that it begins January in New York City. We're introduced to this older Peter Parker. We just see him getting out of bed. He walks out. We see that he has a couple kids. He has a wife who's MJ. MJ is sort of hinting at, like, are you ready to talk about it yet? Don't know what she's referring to. But Peter doesn't have the time. He has to go off to work. So that's where we're gonna cut off to the cut to the Daily Bugle, and that's where we see J. Jonah Jameson shout, "Parker!" But he goes right past Peter, and instead goes into the office of Ben Parker, managing editor at the Bugle. So Jameson hints at that there's this meeting later, but Ben has this thing to do later. Jameson then gives Peter his tie so he could be more professional. Cut outside in the snowy New York, we see Peter and Ben. They're walking and talking. They're talking about just what's happened in the past. They all in reference to the big Manhattan attack that was mentioned in the blurb earlier, the big Iron Man terrorist attack. But anyway, they end up at the big memorial of this terrorist attack that has all bunch of different names on it. However, there's a couple that stand out in particular that it focuses on, including May Parker and Norman Osborn. Father Matthew Murdoch is giving a eulogy, reassuring that the loved ones are not forgotten. And then Harry Osborn takes the stage and talks about a touching memory that he had with his father. Really like touching moment here. It's like this, like I said, it's this whole memorial service that they're having during their to remember those that were lost in this big attack. And so anyway, after this, the Parkers then get together and they just talk about how they didn't really know the Osborns at all, other than MJ meeting Carrie once. We cut back to the Daily Bugle. That's where Jameson storms out of the meeting room, yelling, "I quit!" And so Ben Parker enters and asks what's going on with the changes. It's then revealed that Wilson Fisk is taking over the Daily Bugle, and he's offering Ben a promotion if he can toe the line, as he says, but that leads Ben Parker to quit as well. So we're going to cut later into the day. We see Fisk is exiting his car, and then it gets bombed. And we see that it gets bombed by this new version of, like, Green Goblin as he's just flying off. And we see that Fisk and his men just barely escaped from being blown up. We cut to a bar with no name, where Ben and Jonah are talking. They're having a drink. They talk about they're just wanting to do the right thing. Ben's talking about how he wants to tell the truth. Jonah laughs at it, just saying that, like, there's some things he'd like to believe in. Peter enters, and that's where Ben and Jonah tell him that they're starting their own news business. Jonah then leaves, and Ben talks to Peter about how this is an easy choice for him since, he lost May, and it feels like he doesn't have a lot left to lose kind of at this point. So he's like, all right, he's standing up for what he believes in most. And then it ends here in a way to where he's also sort of giving Peter a wake-up call. Cut to later, back in Peter's apartment. That's where we see he's putting his son, Richard, to bed. He and MJ start having a talk about how she'll support Peter, just like how he supported her when she quit her job last year to start a business. Peter says maybe he needs a change, so MJ goes, "Oh, that. What is that? Well, we'll see." Anyway, Peter's then he goes outside. He's on the roof holding this sort of ball thing. And then we're going to go back in time to the night before, where we see Peter's working, and then all of a sudden this, like, just box appears, sort of all this, like, electric stuff that's coming from it. And it's talking to him, going, Peter Parker. And then all of a sudden this, like, hologram of Iron Man appears. It's revealing that's a message from the future. He reveals that this ball thing is for Peter. And this is when Iron Man's telling Peter here that about what he should have been, right? The Spider-Man that we normally know, but he's telling him, like, this, you've been missing out on what you're really meant to be. And he tells him about how there's somebody named the Maker. He's created this society to be perfectly directed and controlled, and he wants to get, and Iron Man here wants to get all the heroes in this room 6 months from now, he's saying. All the heroes that should have been back in this room. And the message ends with him talking about just Spider-Man was robbed of his future because of what the Maker did. And so, cut to the present, and that's where Peter's then opening the ball, and takes out this vial with a spider in it. He's opening it up. And as this is opening up, we sort of get these really awesome flashbacks of like from when uh Ben was giving like Peter his wake up call at the end there, and then we see him take out the spider and it's coming out on him, and at the same time we see another flashback to MJ saying, "Go get him, Tiger," and we see the spider just on his hand there. He's about to bite his hand, and then it ends here with this final page of we just see the silhouette of Spider-Man standing on the rooftop there. And there we have it. Ultimate Spider-Man issue 1. So much to get into, but what did you think of this issue comic?
Well, I loved it. I didn't know anything about what was going to happen. As I said, I thought it was just going to be an alternate, just from the beginning. I didn't expect to see Peter with a giant beard, in his possibly 30s, mid 30s, because they talk about saying that they've Ben said they've been with them since he was 15, 20 years old. So I'm assuming 35 he is
Yes.
in this, and yeah, and it's so different seeing Uncle Ben alive as well. You know that it's so different from what he is. He's married to Mary Jane. He's got kids. It's all very different. And what strikes me about it is that he feels lost. Peter, we got this Peter Parker that's walking around. He feels like there's something that's missing, that there's a destiny to him. That he's part of his life is not right. And through that whole, we see all the things that are different. We see Wilson Fisk. We see that actually Aunt May has passed away. That Uncle Ben is still alive. That J. Jonah Jameson treats him very differently. When he gives him his tie, he treats him almost like a son, a little bit. And it's just filled with all these like little mysteries that happen. That's going to be filled in different from what we know to the original timeline. And then it's just amazing how it leads to the end. How we get to see Iron Man come back into it, and that was a bit kind of confusing because I didn't know how it was linked to the Maker, but it made me very interested in what is going to happen. And it was just a non-stop. There wasn't much Spider-Man in it, it didn't come into the end. There wasn't a lot of action. It was just about setting up everything. But I think it did it in a really good way, leaving breadcrumbs, making us think, okay, what else will be different? What else is going to change? This isn't like the old Ultimate Spider-Man that was done in the 2000s. This is a very different one, and it's going to link to all these other heroes: Black Panther, X-Men, Iron Man. I think is obviously going to be in it, especially what happens at the end. And then it's got this really nice image, as you said, silhouette when he's just as Spider-Man, but you don't really see him. You just see the outline of him, and it just puts there. I think it's a really good way to end. Gets me interested for the next 4 weeks in February when the next issue comes out. So I liked it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, there's I feel like so much to kind of get into here, right? Because it's not one of those that's about all this action going on here. What's important about it is we're seeing all these different characters in a different spotlight in quite a different situation than what we're used to, but at the same time, all the characters feel very much like who they are, and we still see Peter be what you'd expect. I mean, for me, what I'd expect from an older Peter Parker that's in 35. We see him have this life that is from the normal Spider-Man essentially is always dreamed of, right? And I think that's such a great highlight that we get here, right? He has his children here. He's married with his love of his life, Mary Jane, living happily and ever after. And he has a good job at the Bugle, which, I mean, obviously things are changing now, but and then we also see Ben Parker, though. Like, he has his uncle that, that vital person who we thought would never get Spider-Man properly without him, right? Because it's like a lot of people say, if Ben Parker were still around, we wouldn't get the Spider-Man that we know usually, but here he is. And it's so interesting just having this character here, and honestly great as well, right? Everything he says was just so captivating the entire time, because you're like, holy crap, it's Ben Parker alive, and see him be like this old wise self. You know, he has this whole point there where I mentioned talking about the truth, right? You know, it, it's a moment like that where he really feels like his character, like, you know, he stands for the good of the people, not for himself. You know, and so so much great stuff where everyone, even though they're put into this drastically different situation, they still feel like the characters that they are. They're meant to be. Um, and then the plot twist too, right? They have several, or no, sorry. Well, yeah, there's a few different things, obviously, that like makes you want to keep reading. Like, what's next, right? We see Fisk is going on here behind the Bugle. What's going on with Fisk here at the Bugle, right? Uh, and we got this reference of what did I call him? Father Matthew Murdoch, as he was called, right? To where, uh, you know, Matt Murdock, and so obviously it seems like, I mean, could he get changed into a Daredevil later on, since Iron Man's trying to get back all the heroes? Who knows? Um, in addition to that, we get our tease of this version of the Green Goblin, assuming it's Harry Osborn. I mean, that's what it seems like it's going to be, right? Hopefully, maybe, we don't know. Because they're giving a strong, like, foreshadowing, and like, we don't know who he really is. And then at the end, like, we haven't even seen his suit yet, other than the silhouette, and we'll be getting into it next issue. And they've been teasing next issue as well. This is going to be Peter Parker's first supervillain he goes up against. Who is it? I don't know. They may have shown, but we're seeing an old Spider-Man learn how to be a superhero. Try to be Spider-Man, and it's going to be very interesting to see a take on an older Spider-Man going forward, trying to learn how it is to go, how to be. What I'm very curious on, though, is how is he going to be motivated in the way to. We know that when he gets when the original Spider-Man gets his powers, Ben passes away. Are they going to do that again? Or is May Parker already set up to be in a way where we could get flashbacks to her to motivate him? Or is there going to be someone else he loses to help motivate him when he becomes the hero? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's a good point, which I never thought of before. I mean, we're going to see Spider-Man have to learn everything he's done, but instead of a teenager, we have to learn him to do it now. So we can't really have it to be like, because he was a teenager, he gets to do all these things. He's got to go through all that again. And what's going to be the catalyst? Because he's not just going to put it. What's going to drive him to kind of fight for justice for the world? Because remember, we had Uncle Ben dying when he was younger. That was the drive. And as you said, we wouldn't have had Uncle Ben dying with, and that's what makes Spider-Man. But what will be that? Will it be Uncle Ben? Will it be someone else? Would it be, of course, would it have been Aunt May? We don't know how that, we didn't see that. So that's going to be an interesting dramatic retelling. All that's got to be redone again. We've only seen snippets of just his present life. How does that fit into how he will become Spider-Man? How he would, like, with great, comes great responsibility.
Great
Now, how
power
would that
comes great
fit on?
responsibility.
Great power. I kind of blanked. I shouldn't have blanked. I blanked on that.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so that's going to be, how would that line come into it? What context and what situation would drive Peter to become Spider-Man, to use it for good?
Yeah, absolutely. It's what a setup this all is, right? It definitely has me captivated, wanting to read more. Uh, I think so many great showcases of all the different characters involved, right? Following this older Peter was interesting. I love being able to just spend more time with Ben Parker because he's such a great character that's vital to Peter, and we can see that he's still such a vital character in Peter's life in this, and it's great to see him there. Great to see Jonah still be himself, but not. I don't know what's the word. Not as, I guess, snarky towards Peter, right? But like, he's still very much Jonah. You could tell that he's still Jonah, right? You still see Fisk doing his shady things. And so everyone is just themselves in this different universe, and it's great to see them all put in this such a different situation that makes me just want to definitely read more. And this whole overall mystery, right? You touched on it a little bit earlier. What's going on with this whole Iron Man thing, and what's going on here, right? I mean, obviously, there's some ulterior motive here because it's like, well, Maker's not a good dude, so what in the world is he up to? Who knows, right? And so we'll see. It has me wanting to get into it more, though.
Yeah, it's kind of like what he has planned. Why 6 months from now? Why get all these specific heroes inside at this specific moment? What do we not know? Because that's another mystery. Is what event is making all these superheroes coming together? Why 6 months? Will that lead something in Peter Parker's situation, or will he be in Black Panther? It's another question, a little like dangle left. So it's a great situation, really.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. I'll say though, for me, the only other main point I want to bring up though is I loved at the very end as Peter was taking out the spider. I love the flashbacks. Using the same exact art, or not the same exact art, but like same. No, I think it was the same art actually. Now that I'm comparing them, of the flashbacks as he's remembering, right? Ben's line of "Then wake up," and we see him take out the spider, and then Mary Jane's there saying, "And go get him, Tiger," and that's where where the spider then bites his hand, and so what a great way to like the two people that matters most to him that he sort of remembers in that way, and so. So what a great issue there. It was really great, and it definitely has me wanting to read more. I think for me personally, I'm going to get all these issues as they're collected in the trades, because I haven't read Ultimate Invasion yet. I want to, so I'm going to get the trade to that. I think, and I'll just wait to get the trades of these. However, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to read more this as soon as they come out, because holy crap, this was really good.
Yeah, I've was lucky to get the first issue when it came out. I mean, it was running out already, and I couldn't go on the day it came out. I couldn't go on Wednesday. I had to wait until Thursday, and I was lucky to get it. So I'm hoping that I will be able to get the issues as they come out. Because if they get popular, will they all sell out the next day? Will I have a missing issue and have to get the trades as well? I mean, that's what's worrying me. I mean, I've already bought this first issue, with the big gaps, and I'm gonna have to buy it twice.
Right.
It's gonna be different, but I'm glad I've got this first issue. It's quite historical, considering how it's being treated. So I'm looking forward. Hopefully, I can get the next issues. How many is there, by the way? Is there 6?
As far as I know, they're gonna just try to keep on this Ultimate Universe ongoing as much as they can. As far as I know, like it's this whole new thing that they have going, and what an explosive start, right? They gave an additional Ultimate Invasion. We get snippets and like teases of stuff, and they did Ultimate Universe one shot setting up this new universe. So it'll be really interesting to see, because this is Jonathan Hickman's new big thing that he's been working on with Marvel. Because he helped start the current era of X-Men that's now about to end, and here we have his Ultimate Universe now begin. So who knows how long he's going to keep up with it? It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be for me because I mean I know Jonathan Hickman. Didn't he work on Fantastic Four as well? I think I know him from Fantastic Four. I think that was him.
At one point, I think he did. I haven't read his Fantastic Four, but he did.
Yeah, I think he did that, and I liked him on that. But he's a good choice. I mean, it's a he's definitely got a point he wants to aim towards. There's a reason for this going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you have any other thoughts on this issue specifically, though, before we wrap up?
No. I think all the main points. I mean, just I think as well. What has Wilson Fisk got to do with why Green Goblin's going after him? We know obviously he's the Kingpin, but why specifically he's this Green Goblin? If it is Harry Osborn targeting Wilson Fisk at that point, what's he got to do with it? Would that be part of the story too? I mean, that's my other issue. That was another dangling plot That I was
Right.
like, okay, I'm hoping they pick this up and carry on with it. Yeah, but no, great issue. Yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely agree. I cannot wait to see where this is going. I'm definitely sold on wanting to keep up with this new Ultimate Universe. And this comes from somebody that never really read the old Ultimate Universe as well. Something I didn't say earlier. I never really cared to get into the old Ultimate Universe. Even though I hear Spider-Man's great, but whatever. But no, thank you for joining Comic Book Fan. It's great having you here. Where can the people find you at?
They can find me on Twitch, same name, Comicbookfan. I'm there. Try to be as consistent as I can. I play games on there a lot, and I'm also on Letterboxd, which is where I do reviews, comments, sometimes big reviews, sometimes little reviews about films, new films, old films, just as much as I can watch. Just it's an obsession just to tick off as many films as I can watch. So yeah, and I'm also on Twitter as well. Same name, Comicbookfan.
Awesome stuff. All those links will be down below. Check them out. And be sure to go to the Dingus Den link tree. You can follow up all the socials there. Link down below for that as well. And I'll see you all next time here on the Dingus Den. But before you go, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video. Before you go, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. See you next time here on the Dingus Den.